Bobby Collins. And as John Helm reports, our special guest, he's a man, of course, what can I say, with real star quality, a quality he's been demonstrating non-stop for the last 30 years. Cliff Richard has been topping the charts and topping the bills since the late 50s with music like this. Well, it's terrific to have you here in the studio. You're very busy life. You're looking very well.
Well, I mean, I should really, because I've just come back from Australia. That's where you've been.
Yes, it rained a lot when I was there.
Well, if you're there long enough, of course, you don't mind one or 2 days of rain. Because I must admit, when we were on the sort of the Queensland coast, we got 5 days of nothing but cloud. But it was warm cloud. You know, it was a good time weather-wise to be away from England, because obviously it's a good time to sport a bit of a tan.
Yeah, no, because one thing about Australia is they have huge stadiums. Wherever you go,
yes.
Big stadiums. Now, you are now so big that you can only perform in stadiums, so the days of seeing you in small, intimate clubs are over, I suppose.
They are really. It's just that the cost of competing with everybody these days is enormous. I mean, you know, I've never been of that sort of generation that says they don't write them like they used to, because they do. People like George Michael and the Paul Youngs and all these people are around, and they're very good, and you have to be, if you're going to be up there in the charts with them, you've got to compete. So therefore you have to put on fairly extravagant shows, and it costs a lot of money. And of course you can't play in theatres, I guess, smaller than 2,500, 3,000 seats, and that's hard to find. That's why we've lost a lot of the little places we used to like coming to, because there are no venues left anymore. They've all become bingo halls or split into 4 cinemas.
Yeah, but look, come on, you don't need to have to compete with these people. You could put out anything and millions would buy it. You don't have to compete with them.
It's not true, actually. I mean, I'd like to think that I could record just anything, but you do have to compete, because it's a very competitive world. It always has been, and I guess it always will be. I mean, I'm just thrilled that after all this time, I still sort of rub elbows in the charts with people like Madonna and Michael Jackson. I've just done a tour of Europe, and my record was up there with all of theirs, and I think to myself, this is ridiculous. These people are not even 25
That's
yet.
right. Okay, well, listen, everyone's very glad that you do it, but sometimes, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you sort of toss and turn in bed, as everyone does from time to time, do you think, well, why do I need to keep on doing it? Why do you keep doing it?
I don't need to keep on doing it. That's the main thing about it. I mean, my life at the moment is a very good, settled one, and I'm a happy, contented person. But, you know, if you're an artist of any sort, surely you're going to want to do that. I can't imagine that people who paint suddenly have a desire to stop painting. And so therefore, as a performer, I constantly want to perform. I mean, I may not be able to do it the same way every time, and as I get older, obviously I'm going to have to find other ways of doing it so I don't look silly doing it. Rock and roll could make people of my age look very stupid, and I'd like to think that I've found a way of doing it which doesn't do that. So as long as I can stand up, I don't think my ambition is going to change much.
You know, Martin Shaw, The Professionals, his band repeats this, because he says that was done 10 years ago, and I'm now different. I don't want people to see me how I was 10 years ago. Now, you know, do you mind people playing, well, Summer Holiday, we showed that just now. People, Living Doll, playing that on the radio. Do you mind how you were 25, 30 years ago?
Not really. I have to admit that I understand what Martin Shaw's trying to do, actually. It must be a disconcerting thing for an actor, because they do get into moles and do get trapped. But he's got the problem, of course, of being unpopular with his fellow actors and things who are also wanting to earn money, etc. With me, with an individual like myself, I mean, personally, I don't mind. I think that songs like Living Doll and songs like Summer Holiday and Congratulations played a specific role, and if they were good then, and they were big hits, they're still good, but you just have to look at them and say, oh, look, isn't that funny? Isn't that wonderful what we put up with in those days? And I can live with that. I don't mind at all.
Living Doll was the first EP that I bought. Now, I'll tell you where I bought it. I bought it in Skegness in 1958, it would be, wouldn't it?
In a junk shop?
It cost £4 and £9, I think.
Yes, I
Listen,
know.
You're a very modest man, aren't you? You're not the sort of starstruck, not the sort of...
Well, I don't know what you're trying to get to, but
well,
I mean...
Just say an honest man and a modest man. We thank you. We know you're going to be grilled by the maestro now, Michael Parkinson.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So we say thank you very much. Perhaps you'd like to say goodbye to all your millions of fans out there.
Certainly, goodbye, and maybe I'll see you sometime later in the year when I do come on tour, although I may not make leads.
OK, well, it's great to have Cliff Richard with us on calendar, so we couldn't have a better way of saying good night than...